I'm Jim McClure. The latest casualty numbers are hard for any American to hear.
Now, this isn't the report card mailed home to students. This is something
real easy. All you need is 750 degrees of temperature, about 400 pounds of pressure, 26 miles of steam tunnel. Something new in the wild blue.
People fly out of here to take lessons, to take tours all across the state, and for general aviation purposes.
Let's be upfront that I answered that call from the Marines in high school.
There's a saying, once a Marine, always a Marine.
Marines are constantly training, but this one is the tip of the iceberg.
Once you get in the water, what's the safest way to come out? The way you went in.
And what a way to go in with a full backpack. And you don't get out until you push the backpack out and recite your name and social security number.
539 2755.
Captain David McElliott is the company commander of the Elmendorf-based Marines.
They build it up that it's going to be really, really cold, but when you get in there, you find out it's not that bad. Something worse than anything else you'll do in the Marine Corps.
Name and social. Staff Sergeant Cody W. Riggs. 2823.
And in case you were wondering just how thick is that hole they were jumping into, well, here's the ice. 14 inches worth, top to bottom.
My daddy taught me not to get in the water when it was cold.
Who's your daddy now? Many of these Marines will be delivering toys to hundreds of kids in Bush, Alaska next week.
They go up and down the rivers, the Kuskokwim and the Yukon rivers. They a lot of open holes and everything, and we've had some close calls in the past.
Navy hospital corpsmen like Aaron Clifford are close to Marines in combat and in training.
Got to be prepared for it, and especially when it's cold and you got ice, you want to make sure that you don't fall into harm's way. And if you do, make sure that you keep your head on you and get warm and get dry as soon as possible.
Get in the day.
Running to get warm isn't an order they need to hear twice.
Damn.
They're not retreating, just attacking in a different direction. Jim McClure for the Pentagon Channel.
Well, Laura, flights are taking off and landing here at Merrill. In fact, behind me, the second plane behind, we flew up earlier today. It just came back with another load. This is really the Grand Central Station of a town that's the aviation crossroads of the world. 1 in 4 Alaskans, and perhaps even a higher percentage, are pilots or related to aviation here in Anchorage. And we're at Take Flight, Alaska. People fly out of here to take lessons, to take tours all across the state, and for general aviation purposes. There were some cancellations. Take Flight had to cancel one training flight that was going on earlier today. And also Penn Air, the small commuter airline out of Anchorage, canceled a flight from Dillingham down to King Salmon. But other than that, pilots are continuing with cancellations, not as much a factor as taking precautions. Let's take a look now from a bird's eye view as we flew over the Anchorage area. You have to wonder what would happen as you approach downtown Anchorage if you were seeing that plume. Today, many things were continuing. The Air Force flights were going on. We saw F-15s landing as scheduled. They have to fly a little bit north. Commercial jetliners are as scheduled. They're flying north and east to stay out of the plume area. It's mostly at 30,000 feet as we skirt the mountaintops around the bowl of Anchorage. And down below the Turnagain Arm and the Seward Highway, beautiful day for flying, safe, but like tornado watchers, pilots are always looking forward to what might happen with the plume. And we talked to a pilot about how dangerous ash could be.
And things like that, we want to keep them indoors if at all possible. We want to tape up the engine cowls and anywhere that the ash could possibly get into, and we certainly don't want to fly anywhere near it. You can fly through hurricanes, but you don't want to fly through an ash plume in a, not us or we fly through hurricanes, but it's possible to fly an airplane through a hurricane, but you don't want to fly through an ash plume in a volcano. Very dangerous stuff for aviation.
Dangerous indeed. That's why military pilots overseas are very scared and shut down when they approach a dust storm. Now, we got some precautions from the Civil Air Patrol. They're the auxiliary of the Air Force on what you should do if you're a pilot. This is from Colonel Carl Brown, the wing commander. First of all, you want to update your flight briefings. Keep in touch with the latest on where this plume is moving. Stay away from the ash. If that gets into a plane's engine or exhaust, you've got real trouble. And when you're on the ground, stow it indoors if you can, as Eric Boyd of Take Flight Alaska mentioned, and better yet, keep that windshield covered. If that gets pitted, later on it could cause a real safety hazard. But for now, planes are flying, no plume approaching us. Flight operations continue. We'll have more live at 6 here on CBS 11 News.
Another suicide bomb has rocked Baghdad today, leaving at least 4 dead. Violence has surged in recent days as thousands take to the streets to demand a rerun of the historic elections held in mid-December. Susan Roberts is in Washington with the latest. Militants on Wednesday released a video of a French engineer kidnapped in Iraq 3 weeks ago and denounced the illegal French presence in the country. The video aired on Al Jazeera TV yesterday, demanding withdrawal of French troops from the country. France opposed the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq and has not sent any soldiers there, but private contractors have gone into the region. The French government says it's working for the man's release. Israel's deputy defense minister says a Palestinian suicide bombing that killed 4 people today was carried out by Islamic Jihad. The blast occurred near an Israeli military checkpoint set up today after a bomb warning. Israel says it prevented a heavier catastrophe earlier this week. The radical group rejected an appeal by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas to halt attacks on Israel. In Northern California, it's rain making trouble, and more is on the way. Rivers in the region are at their highest levels in 7 years, causing power outages and forcing residents in some areas to evacuate due to flooding. At least 1 person was killed in a mudslide due to the downpours. Forecasters say more rain is expected to drench the area tomorrow and throughout the New Year weekend. Well, SkyTracker weather meteorologist Angela Huddy joins me now for another look at today's weather. How's it looking, Angela? A little scary on the west coast, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still wet down sunshine in here for the day tomorrow.
Okay, good. Thanks, Angela. Looking forward to it. Up next, if you're up for a holiday road trip, why not head up north to the interior?